Delphin Lee is not only known in the real estate business as a builder and planner, he is also quite admired for his charity works. Sandy Malanta, head of the ABS-CBN Foundation, is a witness to Delphin Lee's generous acts.
That was the time when he made a commitment to renovate the ABS-CBN Foundation building. And in a casual conversation with Delphin Lee, Ms. Gina Lopez mentioned about her project called Bayan ni Juan. And that was when Mr. Delphin Lee invited Gina to do a Bayan ni Juan project in his first community development in Pampanga.
Roby Shattuck, a community developer which made a name for itself by building the Pinoy Big Brother House and the Pinoy Dream Academy, agreed to donate land and to build a two-story school in Pampanga. In 3 months, an impressive Don Antonio Lichuan integrated school was inaugurated in the presence of thousands of Cervera homeowners, DepEd officials, and other partners.
What I did was to go to DepEd and ask them, if you had a model school, what is it that you would want to put there in terms of equipments, in terms of facilities? So they were talking about a multimedia room, a computer lab, speech lab, and the rest of the facilities and equipments. And I went to Mr. Delphin Lee and mentioned this to him, and he said, go ahead, let's put anything that would make the school work.
According to Ms. Sandy Malanta, Delphin Lee is very hands-on when it comes to his advocacy of quality education.
Specifically for education, the school, there is an execom comprised of the regional director of DepEd and Mr. Delphin Lee for Globe Asiatic and myself for the e-media program of ABS-CBN Foundation. And so he was there for all the meetings, and he would do the rounds of the schools, I guess once a week, and see what the school would need.
Because of this selfless act, Ms. Dimalanta considers Mr. Delphin Lee a philanthropist.
Definitely, because he goes beyond just what is needed. He has offered to give an additional monthly allowance to each of the teachers, and he has provided housing for them.
According to the standards of DepEd and ABS-CBN Foundation, the schools in Cervera is a cut above the rest with their global standards and tuition-free.
After the first 3 months, we conducted an evaluation, and we saw the increase in academic performance of the students. And they started winning contests in speech and math and science. And we all attribute this to putting in the best facilities, giving them the best equipment, training of teachers and all.
Ms. Gina Lopez saw Delphin Lee as a man who has a heart for nation building.
Delphin Lee, because you come across many businessmen, and in fact many people, and then they say one thing and then you don't know if they're gonna do it or not, no? But with Delphin, we met and he said, yeah, it's a good thing. And when I came here, there was a building. So he says something, and then the last time I came, facade lang nandito wala pang ano. And then when I came back here, wow, he walks his talk, and he has the will and the determination to make things happen. So can we give Globe Asiatic and Delphin Lee an amazing round of applause? He's a businessman, but he cares for the country.
Ms. Sandy Malanta's first impression of Delphin Lee is shared by another society icon, Mr. Raul Manzano.
My first impression of him was just very quiet. He was very, very typical businessman, doesn't say much. But your expectations change as you get to know him through the years. He's actually quite funny. He's a very flashy dresser. He likes to wear loud collared shirts. Not your typical businessman.
Raul Manzano agrees that Delphin Lee has a unique way of building structures because he puts not just his money, but also his heart in it.
He has always worked outside the box. What he does is he likes to build communities, townships. Is that what he calls them? No? You just don't build the house. You build the market, you build the school, you build the church. So there's a sense of community in the township.
As a real estate developer, Mr. Lee does not only construct buildings, but he also creates a sense of home in his township projects.
Very passionate about his communities, his township, of trying to make for the middle class Filipino a sense of belonging, a sense of community. He's very passionate about that.
Mr. Philip Kunyeng calls Delphin Lee a maverick within the real estate industry.
He's always been innovative, basically. He's said quite honestly that if he had the assets or the resources of like a Mega World or an Ayala Land, then he could compete with them head on, but he didn't. He never had that sort of advantage. So for him, it was how to be very different, how to do something that was out of the box.
Delphin Lee proved to be a risk taker when it comes to choosing locations for his structures.
A couple of years ago, everybody was thinking Fort Bonifacio. Mr. Lee was thinking of anywhere but Bonifacio. And he would go and create communities in far-flung places like Bacolor in Pampanga, where it was all lahar. He wanted to create a community out of that lahar inundated area. And then like presently he has a project ongoing in Calapan, in Mindoro. And then he put up high-rise condominiums at the corner of EDSA and Boni, at the corner of EDSA and Quezon Boulevard. Most real estate planners would tell you don't even go near those areas because that's like traffic, galore throughout the day. But for him, it was a chance to do something different.
Mr. Philip Kunyeng also noticed the uniqueness of Delphin Lee's marketing strategies.
So what he did was he tried to find something that was completely different. And what he did was he went to Channel 2, he talked to Wawawi, he talked to PBB, and he became the grand prize for reality shows and for contests within the TV network. And so right away, he studied the behavioral patterns, I guess, of what his demographic, what his target market would be.
As a society icon and philanthropist, this is what they have to say about Delphin Lee.
I wish he continued success in building more of these townships around the country.
He's basically found a way to sort of like touch the hearts of a lot of people, and I feel that sort of helps a lot in terms of making him become what he wants to be now, which is his own TV personality. He's going to be the Pinoy Big Brother for finance, in a way, I guess, to his show, and I wish him the best of luck in doing that.
Delphin, on behalf of ABS-CBN Foundation, specifically the e-media program, would like to thank you for being there. We're running on our third year of partnership, and we could not see our dreams materialize in terms of coming up with a model school without you there.
Delphin Lee's achievements require no enumeration because his name speaks for itself. And so, instead of enumerating all his achievements, let's talk briefly about the man known in his company